One of the most important aspects of fixing the economy is jobs, and today I'm going to look at manufacturing. A strong middle class is needed to have a strong and healthy economy. The middle class is the engine of an economy, and as it fades away, so does the economic growth. It is imperative that you have a strong middle class, good jobs, well-paying jobs that are able to support what is coming. If you have higher inflation, if you have higher taxation, the jobs need to actually sustain people's lives. Today, that's not happening because so many people are paid at a level that isn't good. They can't pay their bills. They are struggling and they increase their debt as a result. You cannot support an economy on debt, on deficit spending, on money printing. It doesn't work like that, and you could see the failures throughout time. A manufacturing job, while might not be glamorous, is certainly on average better paying than the retail positions that millions and millions of people are in today. If you move those jobs overseas, you have a big problem for a lot of people. Over the years, we have seen more manufacturing jobs pushed overseas to areas with low wages and less regulation. As a result, companies that were once providing thousands of jobs in cities are now closing up shop. They took your money and actually used it to build factories overseas. This happened with the car companies after the financial crisis. They needed a bailout. They got that bailout, your tax dollars, and then they built factories overseas because it was cheaper than operating in the United States. The same thing is going on all over the place, and unfortunately, it's being done at a rate that is too fast to replace those jobs with something that is of equivalent pay. So many countries are seeing an influx of jobs, building stuff, making stuff, actually creating things, and then exporting them, as well as having their own domestic consumption. It's simply cheaper to operate overseas and import products. It's crazy to think about, but if you are in the United States and you are using a particular product, maybe let's say a car, that car is actually sometimes cheaper to build on the other side of the world. Then put it on a boat and send it over. Take 2 months to get over, land in the port, and delivered to your door. But that's the world we live in today. Low-paying service-based jobs have been replacing higher-paying manufacturing jobs, leading to less disposable income, economic growth, and savings, resulting in more debt. I touched on this earlier, but essentially this is what we're dealing with. As a result of everything that's been happening, we are seeing massive malinvestment from the investment community, and it has resulted in dislocations and distortions. Today, you can see how wild the debt is on every level: corporate debt, personal debt, national debt, and so on. Despite being told constantly that manufacturing jobs are coming back, it would be foolish to believe it until something material changes. Must work towards improving middle class jobs. This is the goal. It should be the goal. They tell you it's the goal, but every year you hear the same nonsense and nobody ever brings it to life. And the fact of the matter is, all they have to do is tell the public it's coming and they'll believe it. Nobody has to actually implement any of it. Government needs to provide every incentive for business to hire people locally, not disincentives like tariffs not to. That's the difference. It has to be an incentive for business, not simply a tax saying if you do it, you're going to have to pay money. They need to think of it the other way around. They need less government intervention in that way, not the way that they've been doing it, and it doesn't make its way back into individuals' hands. Let's face it, the tax system is broken. That money will not end up back in your pockets, though they tell you it does. If you've worked for the government, if you've worked for any major corporation, you understand the basic principles of how this red tape system is working. Just to get the most basic task done, you have to fill in 6 things, paperwork, all of the management that has to approve it, and then you can go and scratch your head. It's silly, but that's how bad things have become today. Wait a second, there is so much more. Make sure you check out the next part in this series.